funds, like two different.
So my husband will just give me a sum and then I will just check in with him before I deploy. Yeah, but I still have a lot now. And he's like, why you never spend my money? And I'm like, well, there's no compelling investment right now. I need to wait, right? You can't, it's not about just
It's like your
buying
client.
all. Yeah, kind of,
Like
kind
client.
of. That's why I say I'll never start a hedge fund. It's hard enough to manage my own family's one. And then for my kids, I have stock picks as well as index funds and robos. Yeah.
Okay, so you have your kids.
Industry is changing. From electricity generated like this to sustainable alternatives optimized and distributed by AI. From cars assembled like this to greener vehicles delivered efficiently with cloud-based insights. At Aviva, we're helping industries lead this change. By connecting their teams with trusted insights, they're operating smarter, engineering better, and finding new ways to provide life's essentials. Find out more at takesyouthere.aveva.com. Aviva will take you there.
Investments account, then you put them into index funds.
Yeah, because I think for kids, I have a lot more leeway because I want to also...
Hello and welcome back to Chill with TFC, where we look for the quirkiest and geekiest people to share with you their views on money and on life. This week, we continue our two-part interview with financial influencer and mother of two, SG Budget Babe. Her name is Dawn. We'll learn about how her relationship with money has changed throughout her career. And don't forget to stay till the end for our rapid questions on money if you'd like to learn more about what Dawn's best and worst investments are.
Yeah, and I think also like maybe when you reach a certain age, now that we're in our 30s, right? You realize there's just not so much you can budget anymore because, you know, unlike in your 20s when it's just you.
There's only so many cups of Starbucks that you can stop drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
To save money. Yeah.
And then when kids come to the equation, there's just so many other things that you just can't control already.
Yeah, so you used to keep a lid on all this because you're financially savvy, right?
Exactly.
So with kids, how many kids do you have now?
I have two kids
Two
now.
kids. How old?
They're 4 this year and 1.
Son, daughter.
Both boys. I
Both
want a
boys.
daughter. So
You want
I
a
don't
daughter?
have. No, but I'm done. 2 boys, I'm good.
Close shop.
Close shop already.
Close shop. 4 and 1. Oh, the
Yeah.
one is like, okay, the 4 years old have been through the terrible twos, but the 1 year old is like, so still very young. And obviously, I think maybe they're a bit too young to learn about financial knowledge, right? But I'm sure at some level, you're going to train them for it.
Yeah, I'm starting to teach my 4 years old already. Actually, since he was maybe 3 years old, we've been starting to show him that money is not finite. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I mean money is finite. Because he keeps thinking like,
Yeah.
he just asks people for money. Like buy new toy. He keeps saying, I don't have this, so I must buy this. I'm like, wow, if you want to buy everything that you don't have, even the world is not enough. You're the richest person in the world, you still cannot buy everything, okay?
Okay.
So we're trying to explain to him that it's finite. Yeah, and that we have to work in order to earn money to buy him the things that he wants. So he can't just ask us to keep playing with him as well. Yeah, and then we come up with a reward system. So, like, for instance, I remember one very memorable thing was that he has like coins that we give him and he keeps it in this wallet. So one day I told him, hey, I think you have enough money. Why don't we go and buy some toys? Yeah, you can choose your own. He was like, okay, he got really excited. He went to the shop and he chose a $27 bus. Yeah.
$27?
Yeah, but his coin to have $27.
Or a bus that
Yeah,
costs
a
$27.
toy bus that cost $27.
Wow,
It was a big
nowadays.
toy bus. Yeah. And then
Okay.
I didn't want to, I wanted him to learn a lesson. So I let him, I said, okay, bring it to the cashier. See what he says. Obviously, the cashier told him that it wasn't enough.
The cashier
So-
like, this mom trying to use me. I'm very busy already trying to use me to teach your kids about
Then
money.
she was just like, boy, 不够 leh.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Then
okay,
then I
yeah.
explained to him, you see, it's not enough. You need to choose something that's within the budget. Let's see how much you have. You have $2. Why don't you look for, no, you're $2.50. Why don't you look for something that's within the budget?
Okay.
So in the end, he picked a $180 bus. And he was happy that he had money left over still. Then you're like, next time I can buy more bus. Like, okay, that's good. You can go back and collect more coins, keep more and save more coins, and then come back and buy the next toy.
Okay.
Yeah, so like teaching him to realize that there are budgets. And then I'll use books to also illustrate him the concept. So I recently bought this book from Amazon and I asked him, which brother do you want to be? And it's one about a spendthrift brother and one about a saver brother. Yeah, and then like and the saver then invests as well to become millionaire. So I keep asking him, which one do you want to be? And he says he wants to be the saver who becomes the rich one. Then I say, why? So I can buy many, many things. Okay.
Okay. What were some other values that you want to instill in your kids, your two boys?
Greed.
Greed. What about greed?
Greed. I feel like hard work is kind of overrated. It's important, but greed is really the one that leads almost every single successful person to success.
Okay.
Yeah, because like you can work hard, but if you don't persevere through the tough times, then you'll never have that breakthrough. And I feel for me, like if I look back at my journey, right, I was a straight A student, but I'm not smart. I don't think I'm smart.
You worked hard. Okay.
Yeah, I worked hard and I worked smart. Okay, my IQ it's confirm. Okay, I do IQ tests. I don't score very high one, so I know I'm not smart. But because I know I have a goal and I persevere through it, so that's how I got my straight A's. And then same thing when I set my sights on something, no matter how difficult. I took my real estate exam when I was pregnant. Yeah, it was difficult because imagine being pregnant and handling a kid and still having to study and work at the same time. But I persevered and I really think it was just greed that got me through. Same thing when it came to losing weight. I lost 19 kg to date. I really think it was all about greed. Yeah, greed, perseverance, working hard, but not like repeating things that don't work also. Yeah, and I really wish to instill this in my kids so that whatever comes in life, because we cannot control when bad things happen, but if they have these values, I believe they'll be able to overcome anything that life throws at them.
So now that we know a bit about your family situation, I would like to ask about family financial planning and all that, because we've had couples on the show share their thoughts, and some people will put their bank accounts together, put their money together. Some people keep it separate. Some have a hybrid way of doing it. So how do you do it in your own household with two kids and a husband?
We have our own accounts, and then we don't like go and kiam what each other is spending on. So I would say sometimes lah, but we won't nag or scold. And then we also have a joint account, but we don't use that for joint expenses. Although I recommend couples do that. Yeah, and the only reason why we don't is because the truth is to get the most out of a lot of things, it's not about gyroing your expenses. Yeah, gyroing doesn't get you a lot of cashback or rewards.
The credit cards.
Correct. But if you do that way, then you need someone to manage and track it and expense it. So we chose that way to get more out of what we have to pay. And then I just had to do the extra legwork of expensing it back from my husband.
Okay, I mean it's admin lah. It's admin thing that you do to manage your account and all that.
Yeah.
You manage the family investments?
Yes.
Do you have your personal investments and then the family investments?
I
two
do.
different.
So my husband will just give me a sum and then I will just check in with him before I deploy. Yeah, but I still have a lot now. And he's like, why you never spend my money? And I'm like, well, there's no compelling investment right now. I need to wait, right? You can't, it's not about just
it's like your
buying
client.
all. Yeah, kind of.
Client.
That's why I say I'll never start a hedge fund. It's hard enough to manage my own family's one. And then for my kids, I have stock picks as well as index funds and robos. Yeah.
Okay, so you have your kids' investments account, then you put them into index funds.
Yeah, because I think for kids, I have a lot more leeway because I want also for them to see the impact of different decisions over time. Yeah, so when I allocate to stock picks versus index funds and robos, then they can track 18 years later, how does that look? And it's more tangible to see. We can always teach them, but when you actually have skin in the game, it's a different thing. Yeah, so I want to use that to show them the different paths and let them choose how they want to invest on their own or manage their money in the future. Okay,
so when they inherit the so-called investment account, and they're going to see that, okay, this is the index funds, how it has been doing, and then these are active stock picks and how it's been doing and all that.
Correct.
But prior to that, because the skin in the game so far is you, right? I mean, prior to that, they got to be built up with that knowledge.
Correct.
Not
so it's
easy.
a journey. So they don't know they have an investment fund for now.
Of course they don't.
And that will change over time. And also we're of the mindset that, a lot of parents, they want to pay for their kids' university.
Right.
But my husband and I feel that in the future, a uni degree won't be as valuable as it is now anymore. So if they don't want to go to university, they want to go and start a business, then why not? So we rather have a sum of money that's being invested. And then when we give it to them when they turn of age, it's up to them how they want to spend it. Yeah.
How about putting money into their CPF, the kids' CPF?
Oh, yeah, we would. Just that for now, we're trying to max out taxes.
So you top your own first?
Yeah, we top our own first.
Okay.
Later on, then we do the kids.
Yeah. So how does the investment family fund look like, in your own personal household?
Family fund.
Is it more risk averse? Because it's, you got to plan for the future.
No, I think it's fair. I would say moderate risk.
Moderate risk.
Yeah. So we do have a longer time span, right? Because it's all the way until retirement. So if I gauge we're in our 30s, we have about like 20-30 years of investments at least. So I can afford to take a bit more risk than someone who only had like a 5-10 year time frame left. So for the kids, it's even longer. So we get to play around even more. But because the kids, we want to teach them that thing that I mentioned also. That's why we have different paths allocated for them.
So how do you allocate between active stock picking and index funds?
Based on
Generally,
opportunity.
based on opportunity. Okay.
Yeah, like in market crash, then easy, more on indexes. Yeah, unless the active stock picks crash a lot as well. Yeah, but if the outlook for the active stock picks don't look as good and I feel it could continue to be depressed, then I won't act so fast. I might just deploy more on index funds first.
Okay. So personally, what are you doing right now? Given the market crash, things are picking up again. People are saying, some will think that it's going to be a further crash down the line. You should have some war chest, right? And you're just looking at opportunities, or
we do. I think it's hard to predict where the future goes, so I'm just deploying. But I also do think that we came out of a period of unprecedented gains. If you look at the S&P, right, at all the decades in the last 40 or 50 years, the one that we just came out of was for 400+%. All the others, right? So it was 400 plus. Then you go back another 10 years, it was 200 plus. Then it was like negative 14 or something. Then 200 plus again and 200 plus. But the one we just came out 400 plus.
That's because of the 2020 jump, right?
It's also because of the flush money that's going into the system. So when you go
easing,
up, correct, the QE, when you go up so fast, you will have to come down also before it continues. So I feel like the down hasn't really been down yet. Yeah, and that's why I'm taking a more cautious wait and see approach. And we have slowed down the pace at which I'm deploying our money.
Okay. So you're still deploying at some level, but you're slowing it down. You just don't know if there's going to be a further crash down the line. Of course, nobody can predict anything.
Yeah, like if my tranche was X dollars each time, now I'm reducing it to X divided by 2, so I can make it last twice.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you're not waiting by the sidelines totally. Because some people are holding cash, just.
I think it's so hard to wait on the sidelines because the market can turn against you so fast and unexpectedly. And then you'll be like, when you see it turn, you're like, it is a dead cat bounce. Or is it really the turn, right? You won't
really
know.
Rally,
exactly. Then when it goes up and if it continue going up, you're like, no lah, I think it's fake one now. I'll come back down lah. So it's very hard. The psychology works against you. Yeah. So I feel like just deploying actively makes sense, but you can afford to slow down if you're of the view that it could get worse.
Yeah, it's so hard to read the markets nowadays.
It is.
I look at it, I'm like, what is happening? What's going on, man? Yeah, but okay, so we don't know. You just deploy.
Yeah.
Maybe you deploy a bit less, but that's your strategy going forward. Okay, so that's investments. And you talk about investments on the blog too, right?
Yeah, I do. It's just that I no longer put the whole thesis. I used to when things go IPO or I'll write like my entire stock thesis on the blog. But then there were a couple of instances when I just overheard people talking about me in public and they didn't know who I was lah, right? And then they'll be like, I saw Budget Babe wrote that she invested in this stock. And I'm going to buy. And that's all I heard. And then I got very worried. I'm like, oh, shucks.
Yeah,
but
that's what I meant. People might not read your thesis.
Yeah, they like just scrolling all the way to the bottom and just seeing whether is it a buy or don't buy and then make a snap judgment based on that. And I felt like that was very irresponsible. I didn't want to contribute to that. So I stopped putting up full thesis on my blog and I moved it to Patreon whereby I get to have more conversations with the people. And because it's not, when it's free and public, right, you cannot control who's looking at it. It could be a 17-year-old, it could be a 40-year-old who's experienced, it could be someone who doesn't know anything but respects you a lot. And I cannot control what they do if they don't talk to me about it. Whereas on a more private platform, people can engage me and they'll ask questions and all and I can reply them. So there's a bit more control in that way. And there's also with lesser audience, you only get those who are willing to support you and pay for the work, the in-depth research that you do. So I run a subscription service. And if on that platform, right, it's easier for me to cut. Compared to on the blog where it used to be all free and all. And I used to do that a lot during the 2016 to 2018 period. And then I just stopped.
Because on Patreon, you can filter out the people.
Correct.
Yeah, and you're in closer communication with them instead of somebody just follow your buy and sell recommendation.
Exactly. And I know who's on my Patreon. So, they are also open to have a communication channel with me at any time. And it's really a lot better, I feel, in that way versus always just publishing on, free is great. I like free too, right? But I think in being in a position where I have realized the impact that my words can have on others, I'm a bit more cautious now. I don't want people to be misled into it. So even when during the whole crypto bull run, and everyone was trying to get into crypto and trying to open accounts at all different places, right? I was very cautious about the ones that I picked and wrote about. Yeah, some had affiliate, some didn't.
Okay.
Even if they were good but didn't have an affiliate, I would just talk about it anyway. Yeah, and if they were not so good but offered really good affiliate fees, I would eliminate them.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the back end thing that I think people don't really see.
Yeah, crypto is a bit more iffy, do you feel? Like writing about crypto.
Yeah, but we do need more content about crypto so people can make better informed choices as well.
True. Good point.
But the authorities aren't doing that, right?
Are they not?
They're not putting out enough content about crypto.
You think there's a lack?
There's a huge lag, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so it really all boils down to people like us and the few crypto publications to do that education.
Everyone gets AT&T's best deal on the new iPhone 14 Pro with the incredible camera. So, people currently listening to comedy podcasts, and people listening to political podcasts, and people listening to true crime podcasts who actually can't stop listening to true crime podcasts and it's ruling their lives. The point is, everyone, new and existing customers. Ask how to get up to $800 off the new iPhone 14 Pro with eligible trade-in. Visit att.com or our stores for details. Terms and restrictions may apply.
Imagine having one extra day every week. More time to cook healthy meals, work on that novel, or just binge some good reality TV. Now it's all possible with ClickUp, the productivity platform that'll save you one day a week on work guaranteed. It's packed with features and customization options that no other productivity tool has, so you can work the way you work best. Use code BizTech to get 15% off ClickUp's massive unlimited plan for a year, meaning you can start reclaiming your time for under $5 a month. Sign up today at ClickUp.com and use code BizTech. Hurry, this offer ends soon.
So content has been evolving because your own life has been evolving as well. Yeah, adding in new stuff. There's always new things to learn on SG Budget Bait, right? What do you think your personal relationship with money has been like throughout this whole journey? I mean, from single, you were dating your then boyfriend, and you got married, now with 2 kids. Like, what's your personal relationship with money like throughout this whole journey?
I think it's grown from like what you described, from a scarcity mindset to a abundance mindset. Yeah, from really trying to save on almost everything I can to now being a bit more selective and focusing more on income. And then also, but at the same time, because of the position that I am, I want to make sure the income is earned from sources that give me fulfillment. Yeah, that don't jeopardize my future reputation, because I feel that's more valuable than anything else that can be earned in the short term. Yeah, and really looking at money as a tool to empower rather than living on a budget. It's still about budgeting, but instead of budgeting within your means and just working with what you were given, it's now also about how can you then go out there and get more that you don't have or you need.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the change.
That's nice. Well, but I guess SG Abundance Babe doesn't have
Doesn't
that
have that
same
catchy,
ring.
yeah, it's not catchy, yeah.
That's not catchy. The brand name stays.
Yeah, budget babe. And it's all still in a budget anyway. We always have to operate in a budget, isn't it? Yeah,
True.
It's just how much your budget can grow over time.
All right. Okay, so I have 3 questions for you.
Okay.
The last 3 questions at the end. What has been your best and worst investment? It doesn't have to be a financial one.
My best and worst. I think my worst is easy. It was my very first stock pick. And it was really because I just relied on a tip from my broker. Yeah, first lesson, don't just rely on broker tips. And I remember how my broker pitched it to me. Hey, this is a very good stock, man. It's riding on e-commerce wave. You know, everyone's buying more e-commerce now. And that was even before Shopee was around. So the stock was SingPost. Okay, and they were building all these logistics and all. And even my parents bought. You think I will hide my parents? My own parents My parents bought at $2 plus. Now you're buying cheaper than my parents. 你真的觉得我会害我 parents? I listened to him and he said, I have more experience than you. I'm older and smarter and more experienced. You should listen to me. Really, this is a good pick. Okay, so okay lor. Listen, you won't hide your own parents, right? I go in, I bought, and we all know where Singtel is. It's not $2 anymore. It's like, 40-something cents now?
Then you mentioned broker like, wow, so old school. Back then we still have brokers. Yeah, I remember.
Right? Yeah, the younger generation may not know about it now.
Now it's like, the commissions are so low. I mean, brokers get a fee, right? From your
now it's brokerage platform, not broker anymore.
Exactly. So yeah, I think the young people really have it good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so that was my biggest financial mistake. Not in terms of the dollars lost, but really in terms of the lesson that I learned. Yeah.
How about best one?
Best one, I think would be investing my time to go and read up on all the different investment books, and later on also being open-minded to go for investment courses. You know, courses get a lot of hate, right?
Yeah.
Especially the expensive one. People think it's a rip-off, they don't really teach you. But I do think there are really good courses out there, and I have mentioned and paid tribute to some of them on my blog. So I actually went for some of these courses and paid also because I felt like I could learn from the trainer's experience, and it could also validate if what I was learning from the books is correct, because books are great, but a lot of them are outdated. Yeah, some concepts just don't work anymore. There are very few good books on growth investing. Sometimes you just need a course that's a bit more updated with people who have been doing this for the last few years, but just haven't sat down to write a book because it's so time consuming, right? And authors don't earn much anyway. So like it makes more sense for them to do a course rather than a book. And I went for those courses to learn and reaffirm what I was learning and picking up from the books. And I don't think those were really good investments. Yeah.
You mentioned you've always wanted to write a book. Have you thought about it?
So the joke was, I actually said when I got pregnant, right, I was like, I'm going to have 4 months maternity leave. I'm going to use that 4 months to write a book. No one told me that my 4 months would be spent breastfeeding with every 2 to 3 hours with zero break time. And when I came out of my maternity, I was like, it's a joke, man. Why did I even say or think that I'll be free during my maternity leave? Yeah, so I never got around with it. And now with 2 young kids, I still don't have time. Maybe in the future when I'm retired, I don't know, man.
Okay, sometime down the road, you could possibly spend some time, writing about all your insights and experiences in finance.
Yeah. But I think for now it's not, because it's really about the time trade-off, right? And it's easier to write articles now. Or do social media content, short form content, than to really sit down and write a book. Usually, the process of writing a book, if you really want to do it good, and when I do things, I want to do like 120%. I don't want to do like a half-hearted job. So if I were to really sit down, I think it will at least take me like a year, or even more. But that's not the kind of luxury of time I have right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe in the future, who knows?
What's something under $100 that you spend on that has been a game changer for you?
Harry Potter. Yeah.
All 7 books, less than $100.
No, maybe
Harry Potter.
I count the first one, Ken. The first one was like 20 something dollars.
A bit hard, yeah. Okay, yeah, wow, okay. Books.
Yeah, because I feel Harry Potter really shaped me a lot because of the stories. It taught me imagination. It taught a lot of values, friendship, greed, hard work. Not the smartest person. Hermione was the smartest, but she wasn't necessarily the richest, right? So about being smart, being willing to break the rules where it matters, learning how to respect authority when it is good authority, all of that, and also just the whole imagination, that rich imagination in the story, that really left an impact on me. And of course, I was very inspired by J.K. Rowling herself, because we all know about how she got rejected so many times, right? And then finally, was it Bloomsbury or the publisher name? I forgot last. Right. They gave her a chance, and wow, it became like a worldwide phenomenon, man.
Yeah, so she flipped her status as well.
Exactly. And I thought that was very inspiring. I really lived. I kept thinking about those dreams, and it showed that, like even when life sucks or when you're not getting recognition, it doesn't mean that it's not good. You just need a lucky break. You just need to continue working hard and doing what you think is right, what you think adds value, and everything else will just fall into place. Yeah, and that's with Harry Potter, right? He didn't always know what he was doing, but he just lived to his values, and he didn't compromise on some things, even when he was put in some precarious situations that required him to choose. And it came out good in the end. Yeah, okay. And I felt that was very impactful, especially as a kid. I think when you read those and you grow up with that mindset. Plus, Harry Potter made me love the English language. Yeah, and I think that led me to where I am now, writing, I love writing. So that was pretty much the most impactful, less than $100. And it makes me feel even better that I earned it by myself, because I saved that money to buy my own Harry Potter books.
Oh, yeah, there's an achievement of that as well.
Yeah, it wasn't my mom who bought it for me, it was me saving up by myself.
Yeah, through your own efforts.
Exactly.
Good. Right, so you've mentioned you've attended seminars, you read books. Is there a place that you learn from that you could recommend to our listeners? A book, a podcast? Okay, you don't listen to podcasts.
Whoops.
A seminar, something, a recommendation for us.
I feel books are super underrated.
Do you have a specific
courses
book?
As well. I have a list of books. So if you Google SG Budget Babe investment books, there's a list where I've curated from beginner to middle level to advanced. And I think going through that whole list will really make you a better investor. And then after that is figuring out how to adjust it to today's time, because some investment concepts are timeless, but a lot of things that have changed also. Like in the past, right? If you look at a lot of investment book, they go for investments and businesses with a lot of assets. But today, we don't want. We want asset light industries because they're the ones who can scale and grow the fastest. Yeah, so that's that change. But if you just read books but don't know how to adapt that, then that's a problem. So I think everyone should really start by reading books. And then YouTube, I feel, is great because there are a lot of gems, but there's also a lot of noise. So if you're someone who feels very overwhelmed, I think we just need to play at where we learn best in. Like I was telling you guys, I don't learn very well on just audio. Yeah, so while people say podcasts and clubhouse discussions and all can have been very enlightening for them, it's not something that will help me grow. So for me, it's really about words and videos. And that's where I go for resources.
What was something you've read or are reading recently?
Let me think. I read a lot of books recently, but I think the most impactful one that I recommend is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Have you read that?
Yeah, I haven't fully read it. Yeah.
You should. It's a really great book. It talks about money from like as a means, as investments, as expenses. It covers the mindset. It's really the psychology of money, and it's very enlightening. Like there were so many parts of the book where I was like, screenshot, yeah.
And then you realize you screenshot the whole book.
And I was like,
good?
There's just so much gem in there. Yeah, and I think that's a classic that I will reread for years to come.
And he blogs as well, so you can...
Blogs mine Shameless shilling.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about SG Budget, babe. Yeah, so there's your blog is still there. You're venturing out into YouTube. What else are you doing? TikTok, we haven't
No,
TikTok?
I tried, but it's so hard. I put a lot of in-depth content on my blog. Yeah, and I think people now are like looking more at my social media on Instagram. I do put stuff on Instagram as well, but those are like news, right? Or very quick stuff or like short form content. But a lot of the gems are still in my blog. Yeah, and there are a lot more sponsored posts on my blog now, but I'm very selective about how I take those on, and I direct the direction. Yeah, the clients don't always get to pick. In fact, most of the discussions which nobody hears, it's actually me telling the client, I want it to be in this angle. I propose this direction. If they fight back, then I will argue back unless their angle makes sense. Yeah, and I really get to go into a lot of detailed content that wouldn't otherwise go out. I get to speak and vet and double confirm a lot of things that people normally wouldn't get access to. Yeah, so a lot of the gems are in there. People are not reading it as much as they used to anymore because I think a lot of the attention is going to short form content like TikTok and YouTube and Instagram.
You see the views going towards your other channels,
correct,
right? Instagram
correct.
And all that.
Yeah, but my blog really is where like the in-depth thinking and details, like just now I was just telling you about the last 10 years of the S&P thing, right? The 400%, 200% and all. That's actually an upcoming blog post that will come up this weekend.
Oh, and it's not sponsored, right?
It is sponsored, but I came out with that content. Like the client didn't tell me to look back. So I was actually the one who looked at the brief and I was like, I think we should really talk about why the macro scene currently looks the way it is, and this is what we just came out on. History is not going to repeat itself, but it might, and these are the trends that we're starting to see. So yeah, I was directing like 90% of the whole article. And that is really where I put a lot of effort in. I spend at least a good 6 to 20 hours each week on my blog. Yeah. Wow. And maybe just like...
So many bloggers have stopped blogging, I mean, they went on to TikTok, IG, YouTube already, but you're still working on it.
Yeah, because like also, I feel like when I sit down and I work on a blog article, right, that's where I get to, open like 200 tabs and look at a lot of research and then pull and consolidate and all. And that whole curation and crafting of a direction, a story, an angle, there's a lot more effort and there's more direction. There's more focus. It's hard to get that on TikTok or Instagram.
Yeah, the medium doesn't allow for depth.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm really proud of the work that I have on the blog. Yeah, and I think people should really read it. You'll learn so much. I have almost 500 articles on the blog. No, I think people don't realize. Yeah, but if someone just reads through all my old content, right, and you just eliminate those that are time sensitive, like promotions and stuff like that, which are very rare anyway, there's a lot of insights and gems that can be learned from there. Yeah, and I think there are also a lot of local blogs that we can learn from. Also a lot of US blogs. There are great writers on Substack, Seeking Alpha, where else? Medium, Twitter. It's really about finding the ones that you resonate with, the ones whom you respect them and you like the way they think and analyze businesses and investments and then following them. Because there's just so many writers out there. It's just like how it's impossible to read the works of every single author in the world and the world's library. It's very hard to read all the blogs out there on investing and finance as well. So it's really about picking those that resonate with you and then sticking with them. Yeah, and feel free to switch if you suddenly think that the author has deviated. Because like we invest differently, right? If all along you will grow, but now you feel that you got burnt in growth and you want to go more towards like index funds, then go and find an index writer. Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of great ones out there.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dawn.
Welcome.
Hey, I hope you've learned something useful today, and I truly appreciate that you took time off to better your life with the financial coconuts. Knowledge is that much more powerful and interesting when shared, debated, and discussed. Join our community Telegram group, follow us on our socials, sign up for our weekly newsletter. Everything is in the description. If you love us and want to help us grow, definitely share the podcast with your friends and on your socials. For more information, check out thefinancialcoconut.com. With that, have a great day ahead, stay tuned next week, and remember, personal finance can be chill, clear, and sustainable.
Imagine having one extra day every week, more time to cook healthy meals, work on that novel, or just binge some good reality TV. Now it's all possible with ClickUp, the productivity platform that'll save you one day a week on work guaranteed. It's packed with features and customization options that no other productivity tool has, so you can work the way you work best. Use code BizTech to get 15% off ClickUp's massive unlimited plan for a year, meaning you can start reclaiming your time for under $5 a month. Sign up today at ClickUp.com and use code BizTech. Hurry, this offer ends soon.